Hello, I'm Amy Schenk, the Community Engagement Lead at the Neuropsychiatric Research Center. And today we are excited to welcome you to Your Beautiful Brain. So we're going to focus today on the importance of keeping that 3 pounds of awesomeness healthy and strong. The brain is the most important organ in your body. But what we want to do is to dig into that topic a little bit deeper. Today, I have my friend and colleague, Cynthia Perthuis, with me. Cynthia, I'd love it if you would tell our audience a little more about what you do, but more importantly, tell me why you're so passionate about the topic of brain health.
Sure. Thanks for having me today. So I own a company called Senior Care Authority in Southwest Florida. And what we do is we help people try to make some decisions, some hard decisions about where they should live, how they should live as they age. But specifically, we focus on people with dementia. And let me tell you how I came to that world. So my father died with Alzheimer's about 10 years ago. My grandmother died with Alzheimer's. And my great-grandmother died with senility. Now, we know now that all 3 of those were the same thing. And then I also carry a gene that gives me a little bitty percentage higher chance than the general public of coming down with Alzheimer's. So my goal is to help everybody I can talk to at any time understand how to keep dementia at bay, if possible, even though genetically you may have some propensity to have it, but let's see what we can do. And that's what I do. And I do it for my family and I do it for myself.
So again, I know you're excited and passionate about this topic. Tell us a little bit about what are the main areas that we all need to focus on to have the healthiest of healthy brains.
I like to think of it as 4 pillars. So the first pillar is exercise. We need to be exercising. We can talk a little bit more about that in a minute. The second thing is healthy eating. We need to be eating healthy. And now in Southwest Florida, that's kind of easy to do because it's the Mediterranean diet, if you will. So there's a lot of vegetables. We can get them at the farmer's market, different places. The third thing is cognitive activity and stimulation, doing some brain games or strategy things. And then the fourth thing, which is my favorite, as you know, is social interaction with people. So those are the 4 pillars: exercise, healthy eating, cognitive activity, and social interaction.
Well, you know what, Cynthia, that sounds, pretty straightforward and kind of pretty common sense. Now, I know we aren't all blessed with common sense, but tell me a little bit more about what gets in the way of us doing this. Because as you say that, I think, well, I know myself, and I'm sure most of our audience knows those things, but something gets in the way. So what gets in the way?
There are some things that people think get in the way, but I'm going to tell you how those things shouldn't get in the way. But one of the things that gets in the way is how we were raised. Maybe we were raised with, I know how I was raised, with good old-fashioned Southern fried chicken. And we had a lot of that. So that's a habit that I have that came with me from the way I was raised. Sometimes we think we don't have enough time. We don't think we have enough money. We don't think we have enough support. So those are the things that get in the way, besides just our own bad habits that we need to break.
Well, and you know what? I will tell you, I grew up in an environment where we did not eat as healthy as I think I do now. Again, it was the meat and potatoes and all that really kind of good stuff. Mashed potatoes and gravy. I could eat it every day. Well, since we know that there are the things that get in the way, how do we address that? Because really what we want to do is make this as easy and accessible for people and have all of us move in a positive direction. So what do you suggest?
Well, if we're thinking about all these habits that we had, where we didn't exercise and we didn't have the time and we sat around for a long time and we ate, I'm not going to say bad food, but food that's not as good for us as we should be eating. So the first thing we have to do is we have to know that it's never too late and it's never too early to start getting into good habits. And we also need to think about starting small. So we're not going to say, tomorrow I'm going to run a marathon, I'm going to swim 100 laps, I'm going to only eat vegetarian, and I'm going to play a brain game all day, every day, because that isn't going to ever happen. So we just want to start small with all these things. And we want to try to find and carve out time and try to find a way to break some bad habits. And as I understand it, it can take about 20 days in a row to break a habit. So if we just think about doing something for 20 days, not for the rest of our lives, not for a year, just 20 days of doing something different.
You know, that does sound manageable. And I think for me, I can speak for myself, and I'm sure a few people in our audience, when I say, thinking of where I am and all the things I need to do, I mean, it sometimes just makes me tired. I want to go back to bed and not start. And I know better. I think we all know better. So if you were to give me, let's just say kind of the beginner's tip on what could I do, and let's acknowledge the fact that sometimes I'm a couch potato. What could I actually do that's not going to really cost me a whole lot of money, that may take a little bit of time, but something that I can integrate into what I'm already doing? What would you suggest for me?
You know, the first one that's the easiest one that I give people is park further away from the front door of the grocery store. When you go and you're driving around looking for a front row parking space, go to the back row, and that'll give you a few extra feet to walk. So that's good. Take stairs. Don't take the elevator. Now, I'm not going to say take stairs up 14 floors, but if you just have in a smaller building, you're going 2 or 3 floors, take the stairs. And so that's good ways to just add more work and more exercise to your day that doesn't take any more time, really. And then another thing you can do that is going to add some accountability as well as some social interaction and some cognitive is get a friend to do it with you. So you're accountable to them, and you can be talking, you can be gossiping, you can be doing all sorts of things to keep your brain engaged, and you're doing it together. And when you're talking and walking, you're using up a little bit more energy as well.
You know, that's funny. I think of a couple things. One is, why is it so funny that we don't like to let anybody else down? So if I'm committed to walking with you, I'm more likely to do it if I'm going to do it myself. You know, what I'm concerned about is I haven't exercised for a while, and I do have some chronic health conditions, and a number of us do. What should I do before I actually jump into even these simple and pretty easy steps to help increase my activity?
Well, the first thing you always want to do, whether you make a special appointment or whether you just do it in time when you're there, is you want to talk to a medical professional. It's best if you're talking to your primary care physician if you have one, but maybe you don't have one. You can talk to the pharmacist, and you can say, you know what, I am thinking about walking a little, maybe a half a mile a day more than I had before. What are things I should think of? And a pharmacist at your local CVS or Walgreens will talk to you and give you some advice about what you should think about. What medications are you taking? What are some things you need to watch out for? So you want to talk to a medical professional.
And you know what? Our pharmacists are probably one of the best, well-kept secrets. Pharmacists are amazingly knowledgeable. I mean, they go to school for a really long time. So they're a great resource for health issues. But they also know you a bit because they know what medications you're taking. You know what, Cynthia? Thank you so much. This has been really helpful and enjoyable. Could you tell our audience, where can we reach you if they have questions or if they need some help with some of their older friends and relatives to help them in that challenge?
Sure. So the easiest, because they know you, so I could say they could call you and you can introduce them to me. But a little bit simpler without bringing Amy into the mix is you can reach me at my email address, which is cynthia@seniorcareauthority.com.
And that is a mouthful.
It's a mouthful.
You know what? I really appreciate your time today. I'd like to tell you a little bit about how you can reach me at the Neuropsychiatric Research Center. We are a phone call away, and we can help you if you're having some memory issues. So please contact us at 239-939-7777, or our website is at nprc-swfl.com. I'm Amy Schenk, and thank you for joining us on today's edition of Your Beautiful Brain. Stay tuned for more Lee Pitts Live.
Lee Pitts Live is a Lee Pitts Enterprise production.
Hello everybody, this is Lee. I'm so glad that you watched that particular show, and if you enjoyed that show, we got other shows like that. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel, watch Lee Pitts Live on demand anytime, and also hit us up on all our social media platforms. Just type in Lee Pitts Live, and there you go.